Are there constructive things that you can do to help restore a culture of life? Find out next on this edition of Life Matters. Our host, Brian Johnston, has been a teacher at every academic level, from adult education and junior college down through high school, junior high, and even 5th and 6th grade. As is so often the case with teachers, he has also coached. Many on the California pro-life team call him the Life Coach. Today, you'll find out why on Life Matters. And now here's our host, Brian Johnston.
Welcome back to Life Matters. We're your program on the right to life, that singular and important idea, that foundation for not only our society, but the basic premise for every just society, that the purpose of the law is to protect the lives of the innocent who cannot protect themselves. It's an important idea, and yet we're in a battle of ideas, and that idea in particular is under assault. We're here to prepare you for that battle and to help equip you to be an effective warrior in the battle of ideas. This particular episode of Life Matters is exciting because I was back in Washington, D.C. for the March for Life. We go back every year and join with hundreds of thousands of fellow pro-lifers from across the nation. And of course, perhaps the most important pro-lifer in our nation at this moment, the President of the United States. We have his comments in its entirety on today's program. So we're going to join the President of the United States in just a moment. I also want to talk a little bit about the decision that he made regarding California law, and specifically the laws of California, the draconian laws of California that force abortion participation. Much of the coverage you've heard in the news has been false. Much of the ideology expressed is false. You need to know what the president did. He actually is standing in the way of Governor Newsom, who is using the power and authority of government, not simply funding abortion, which we do in California more than any other state in the nation. But that is not what the president was addressing. The president, through Health and Human Services, is addressing the issue of private insurers and whether a private insurance company would fund an abortion. And this is critically important because the governor is forcing not just the government, not just your tax dollars to pay for abortion, but private insurers who are not financed by the state. If they're going to do business in California, he is making them a private entity. He's making them support and pay for abortions. This is draconian. That is something that was done under Stalin-esque routine where the government forces private industry to do certain things against their will. That's what's addressed in the president's action regarding the insurance companies of California. We'll talk about that at length. But right now, I want you to know that we have at present the most pro-life president this nation has ever seen, not just in word, but in deed. This president has done extraordinary things, and we are very honored to go back and to be part of, again, a crowd of hundreds of thousands of people from across the nation that heard him speak. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
It is my profound honor to be the first president in history to attend the March for Life. We're here for a very simple reason, to defend the right of every child, born and unborn, to fulfill their God-given potential. For 47 years, Americans of all backgrounds have traveled from across the country to stand for life. And today, as President of the United States, I am truly proud to stand with you. I want to welcome tens of thousands, this is a tremendous turnout, tens of thousands of high school and college students who took long bus rides to be here in our nation's capital. And to make you feel even better, there are tens of thousands of people outside that we passed on the way in. If anybody would like to give up their spot, we can work that out. You have a tremendous group of people outside, thousands and thousands wanted to get in. This is some great success. Young people are the heart of the March for Life, and it's your generation that is making America the pro-family, pro-life nation. The Life movement is led by strong women, amazing faith leaders, and brave students who carry on the legacy of pioneers before us who fought to raise the conscience of our nation and uphold the rights of our citizens. You embrace mothers with care and compassion. You are powered by prayer and motivated by pure, unselfish love. You're grateful, and we are so grateful. These are incredible people, to be joined by Secretary Alex Azar and Kellyanne Conway. Thank you. And thanks also to Senators Mike Lee and James Lankford, who are here. James, Mike. Thank you, fellas. And Representatives Steve Scalise, Chris Smith, Ralph Abraham, Warren Davidson, Bob Latta, John Joyce, Lloyd Smucker, Brian Fitzpatrick, and Brad Winstrup. Thank you all. And I have to say it, I look at it, I see it exactly. We have many, many more politicians in the audience, but if you don't mind, I won't introduce them all. All of us here today understand an eternal truth. Every child is a precious and sacred gift from God. Together, we must protect, cherish, and defend the dignity and the sanctity of every human life. When we see the image of a baby in the womb, we glimpse the majesty of God's creation. When we hold a newborn in our arms, we know the endless love that each child brings to a family. When we watch a child grow, we see the splendor that radiates from each human soul. One life changes the world. From my family, and I can tell you, I send love, and I send great, great love. And from the first day in office, I've taken a historic action to support America's families and to protect the unborn. And during my first week in office, I reinstated and expanded the Mexico City policy, and we issued a landmark pro-life rule to govern the use of Title X taxpayer funding. I notified Congress that I would veto any legislation that weakens pro-life policies or that encourages the destruction of human life. At the United Nations, I made clear that global bureaucrats have no business attacking the sovereignty of nations that protect innocent life. Unborn children have never had a stronger defender in the White House. And as the Bible tells us, each person is wonderfully made. We have taken decisive action to protect the religious liberty. So important, religious liberty has been under attack all over the world and, frankly, very strongly attacked in our nation. You see it better than anyone, but we are stopping it. And we're taking care of doctors, nurses, teachers, and groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor. We are preserving faith-based adoption. And to uphold our founding documents, we have confirmed 187 federal judges who apply the Constitution as written, including two phenomenal Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. We are protecting pro-life students' right to free speech on college campuses. And if universities want federal taxpayer dollars, then they must uphold your First Amendment right to speak your mind. And if they don't, they pay a very big financial penalty, which they will not be willing to pay. Sadly, the far left is actively working to erase our God-given rights, shut down faith-based charities, ban religious believers from the public square, and silence Americans who believe in the sanctity of life. They are coming after me because I am fighting for you, and we are fighting for those who have no voice, and we will win because we know how to win. We all know how to win. We all know how to win. You've been winning for a long time. You've been winning for a long time. Together we are the voice for the voiceless. When it comes to abortion, Democrats, and you know this, you've seen what's happened. Democrats have embraced the most radical and extreme positions taken and seen in this country for years and decades, and you could even say for centuries. Nearly every top Democrat in Congress now supports taxpayer-funded abortion all the way up until the moment of birth. Last year, lawmakers in New York cheered with delight upon the passage of legislation that would allow a baby to be ripped from the mother's womb right up until delivery. Then we had the case of the Democrat governor in the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we love the Commonwealth of Virginia, but what is going on in Virginia? What is going on? The governor stated that he would execute a baby after birth. You remember that? Senate Democrats even blocked legislation that would give medical care to babies who survive attempted abortions. And that's why I've called on Congress, two of our great senators here, so many of our congressmen here, and called upon them to defend the dignity of life and to pass legislation prohibiting late-term abortion of children who can feel pain in their mother's womb. This year, the March for Life is celebrating the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which forever enshrined women's rights to vote in the United States and given by the United States Constitution. Such a big event. Today, millions of extraordinary women across America are using the power of their votes to fight for the right and all of their rights as given in the Declaration of Independence. It's the right to life. To all the women here today, your devotion and your leadership uplifts our entire nation, and we thank you for that. The tens of thousands of Americans gathered today not only stand for life, it's really here that they stand for it so proudly together, and I want to thank everybody for that. You stand for life each and every day. You provide housing, education, jobs, and medical care to the women that you serve. You find loving families for children in need of a forever home. You host baby showers for expecting moms. You just make it your life's mission to help spread God's grace. And to all of the moms here today, we celebrate you and we declare that mothers are heroes. That's true. Your strength, devotion, and drive is what powers our nation. And because of you, our country has been blessed with amazing souls who have changed the course of human history. We cannot know what our citizens, yet unborn, will achieve, the dreams they will imagine, the masterpieces they will create, the discoveries they will make. But we know this: every life brings love into this world. Every child brings joy to a family. Every person is worth protecting. And above all, we know that every human soul is divine, and every human life, born and unborn, is made in the holy image of Almighty God. Together, we will defend this truth all across our magnificent land. We will set free the dreams of our people. And with determined hope, we look forward to all of the blessings that will come from the beauty, talent, purpose, nobility, and grace of every American child. I want to thank you. This is a very special moment. It's so great to represent you. I love you all. And I say with true passion, thank you, God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you all. Thank you.
Life Matters continues after this.
Life Matters is sponsored by the California Pro-Life Council, the state affiliate of the National Right to Life Committee. To find out more on how you can help and be involved right where you are, go to californiaprolife.org. That's californiaprolife.org. We'll tell you how you can get involved in your local community, how you can be effective if you want to be a pro-life speaker. We have training programs and open doors of opportunity for you to speak on the life issue. If you'd like to donate your car or a boat, you can do that at californiaprolife.org. Car Easy makes it easy, and you find that on our website. We get the most of any donation program. Car Easy allows us to get the most out of your car. Maybe you're not getting the trade-in value you wanted. Maybe it's just not running the way it used to. Let your car be used for life. Go to californiaprolife.org and find out what you can do to make a difference. californiaprolife.org.
Be sure to subscribe to the Life Matters podcast with Brian Johnston. Go to lifematters.life to subscribe. And now back to more Life Matters with Brian Johnston.
Well, welcome back to Life Matters. I'm your host, Brian Johnston. Let's talk a little bit about what the president did during the Walk for Life, because the president is a doer, and he had instructed the Department of Health and Human Services, and specifically the Civil Rights Division under Roger Severino, to withhold funds from the state of California when it comes to health and human services payments. There are 30 days to comply. And the reason is that California is one of several states under Obamacare. Remember, Obamacare supposedly wasn't going to touch the rest of health care, but in fact it did. And under Obamacare, not only did it affect government control of health care, but private control of health care. And in California, law has been issued starting in 2014 under the Obamacare Act, mandating that private health care would also pay for abortions. Now again, I talked to someone today who thought that the president was dealing with the state of California and its funding of abortion. And the state of California does fund abortion to the tune of millions of dollars. But that is not what this is about. This is about how Gavin Newsom is forcing private insurers. So it's not state money. This is your personal money that you give to a private insurer for your health care. Gavin Newsom says private insurers must pay for abortions. And there are several religious organizations. One is Skyline Wesleyan Church. And I happen to know the folks at Skyline. It's a great Wesleyan church. And they don't want their money for their insurance paying for abortions. But the state of California has said, no, it must. So they, along with a Catholic organization, the Guadalupean Missionaries, these are nuns, they don't want to pay for abortions. But the draconian state of California, in the name of choice, it's not choice, it's forcing abortion. This is forcing abortion on the culture. Again, it's not whether the state's paying for it, it's making private insurance companies, private individuals, pay for abortions. And under the Weldon Amendment, which was passed by Congress, there is provision that private companies need not be forced to pay for abortion. This is a direct violation of that. Now, when the Weldon Amendment came up, to be expected, the Obama administration disagreed. So the Obama administration said, no. States can have a pass. And of course, they gave just such a pass to California and to the pro-abortion ideologues that control California. This president has said, wait, the Weldon Amendment's in effect. And Department of Health and Human Services has said, hey, you need not pay for abortion as a private entity, and the state cannot force you. This is a very important distinction, and it's a wise use of law. It's common sense. It's opposing the draconian. And this is something that you would see in any absolutist government. This is something that Stalin would have done, forcing everyone, every private industry to do something unconscionable. It's a very significant decision. So I wanted you to know that there's a distinction in this battle. And we still have to deal with California's government funding of abortion. That's still an issue. That's not going away, and we have to fight it by replacing your legislators. That's why elections are important. We'll be talking more about elections through the special primary, a very important month. Make sure you're prepared and understand who is running for office all the way down the ballot, because these are the people who decide what happens with your tax money. But again, this Weldon Amendment has to do with the freedom of private insurance agencies. And so this is a very, very important distinction. There's 30 days. We're going to find out what the state of California does with this. Something that's ironic, and I'll read to you a quote. Again, this is a quote from Senator Dianne Feinstein. And as I said at the top of the program, abortion advocates are dishonest. They're not really talking about the facts. And when it comes to the Weldon Amendment, this is what Senator Dianne Feinstein said. She said, I don't think the government should regulate a woman's reproductive system. I think her faith might play a more reasonable role than the government. Wait a sec. This is amazing. So now it's a religious issue of faith. As I said, this particular measure that is allowed under the Weldon Amendment doesn't stop what a woman does with a reproductive system. In fact, it doesn't stop abortion. In terms of logic, you have the right to buy a car. But making the government pay for a car is a very different issue. Making a private person or a private industry buy your car is a very different question. And so they're conflating both legal principles and the issue of reproductive rights. Again, a phrase through which a lot of dishonest killing happens. So understand that this is not about whether a woman can get an abortion. It's about forcing private individuals to pay for those abortions. And this is even with California funding multiple $1 million worth of free abortions. This is on top of that, a very significant amendment in the Weldon Amendment. We'll know more in 30 days. I think it's particularly ironic that our Attorney General Javier Becerra stated that, no, California will continue to protect families by insisting that this Weldon Amendment not be applied. Now, that's a particularly ironic, and I got to tell you, disingenuous argument, that somehow forcing private parties to pay for abortions against their conscience is protecting families. Killing the youngest member of a family is what Margaret Sanger said is the kindest thing a poor family can do. And that's the kind of thinking you're hearing from these condescending and dismissive progressives. Killing is an answer for them. Literally, this argument is, we're going to end poverty by killing the poor. That's going to end poverty. And if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. The fact is the intellectual dishonesty that's routinely applied by the media. This is not a reproductive right in killing. There's nothing reproduced in an abortion. It's the exact opposite. Exactly the opposite. You're intentionally killing what you know and understand to be a unique human being. That's like having a hitman for the mafia say he's involved in reproductive rights because that person that he killed will never reproduce again. He's saving the environment. He's limiting the population. He is stopping global warming. Thank you, mafia hitmen. Thank you for saving the planet. The intellectual dishonesty that's routinely employed in covering this issue is very real, and you have to be prepared for this battle. As I said, this particular month that's coming up is an important month starting February 3rd. Ballots are in the mail. And on March 3rd, it's not actually the election day. That's the day all of the ballots are counted. So please check at CaliforniaProlife.org. Find out who your local pro-life candidates are up and down the ballot. You will see at California Pro-Life our endorsements, but there's quite a few areas where we still need help. In the beginning of February, we want to make sure that your school board has pro-life members because Planned Parenthood wants to control your local school board. If you'll take just a little time, we'll show you how to find out where those school board candidates stand. This is the election when they're elected. You can make a difference right now. So that's californiaprolife.org. Go to californiaprolife.org to find out more about your local candidates. Extremely, extremely important. We want every county to have their local pro-life slate, their listing of good pro-life candidates all the way up and down the ballot. So California Pro-Life Council is the state affiliate of the National Right to Life Committee. We're part of a national team that functions locally. That's right, in your local area. And our program is expanding. This radio program is now heard throughout California and expanding into local markets. If you'd like to help us expand, we'd really appreciate it. And you can actually text a donation. Please pull over if you're driving. Text the word GIVE to 916-347-5644. Remember, you can text this, be pulled over, be in a safe place, use your phone, and a page will pop up where you can donate to California Pro-Life Council. Go to area code 916-347-5644. Text the word GIVE, and you can donate to the California Pro-Life Council to help this program expand its reach, but also to help our expansion and our effectiveness in every one of California's 58 counties. Again, we are the local state team that's part of the National Right to Life Committee. This battle is very real. You're involved in a battle of ideas. Your failure to recognize that you're in that battle means you'll fail. We want to equip you to succeed. The right to life is the basic premise of all societies, all just societies. And wherever the right to life is lost, that society becomes a dystopia. It becomes dysfunctional. And if you don't know what that word means, take a look at life in Cuba. Take a look at life behind the former Iron Curtain. Take a look at life in Venezuela, in Nazi Germany. Wherever human life is not protected under the law as a foundational premise of society, that battle of ideas is lost, and bad ideas control the government. Bad ideas control the laws. You're involved in a battle of ideas. Thank you for listening.
Learn more about everything in today's show online at lifematters.life, where you'll find all the resources you need to protect life. Life Matters is a production of the California Pro-Life Council, the state affiliate of National Right to Life.